Okay, you guys, I got a new tool. I wanted to show it to you. It's made by a company called Rouge Hoe, and this model is called the Top Dog. They had a lot of tools on their website. I heard about these tools from a firefighting website, and they're made in the USA, made in Missouri, handmade, really well made tools out of really high grade alloy steel. The adze part that has a slight curve is made from recycled discs, tractor discs. It's about 1/4 of an inch thick, and it's really tough. I did some work with it already. They come from the factory razor sharp. Before I used this yesterday, I could have sliced a tomato and made a tomato sandwich with this part right here with the cutter head. And just for comparison, here's the 2.5 pound head Collins Cutter-matic. You can see it's a lot shorter. This one gives you about a 6-inch longer handle with the Top Dog. And the blade, compare the blade right there. This is about twice as wide this way than this little. But I'm not down in the Collins. I love my Collins because it's light, it's small, and it gets a lot of work done. That's also a tool you gotta have. Let's compare them side by side so you can see. That's the two right there. This is a little bit wider. And here's comparison with a 5 pound Matic. Some guys like to use the big heavy one here and wear their arms out. I'm always trying to figure out how to work smarter, not harder. But this thing's lighter. This thing is as light as the 2.5 pound head Collins Cutter-matic right here. And on their website, they say it's 4 3/4 pounds. And I thought they meant the head was 4 3/4 pounds. But when I got it, I was like, man, this thing is light because it's. I think what they mean on their website is that the whole tool, including the handle, is 4 3/4 pounds, because that's what it's got to be, because it wasn't that heavy. I think it was the only choice when I got this. It came with ash. Some of their other tools, you get a choice between ash or hickory. This was $87.95 as of December 2023. With tax and shipping, it came out to $130. They're often back ordered. It's a small company, a family-owned business. They make these all by hand, made in the USA. They're well built. They're well worth the money. Well worth the money, I could tell. Because I do a lot of brush clearing, and I used to be a wildland firefighter. I could tell that a wildland firefighter would like this for certain applications. Here's a real close-up of this tool right here. And that's the welds. See those welds? Those nice stacked dimes. Really well made, handmade, man. Made in America. And the edges are really sharp. You can see that right there. I mean, they're honed. I got this thing dirty, and I'm going to show you what I did with it. That's coming up right now. I mean, this thing is like razor sharp. It even says caution, sharp. Anyways, enough talking. So this is a little coffeeberry bush. These are all stubs from larger bushes that I chopped off, and those are just little suckers coming out. But they were larger in diameter. That's why I had to whack it like 3 times to get it out, because it was actually a larger diameter. It was a tall bush, about 6 feet tall. Those are just little suckers that came up from last spring. Tan oak, what am I saying? This is the Lithocarpus densiflorus. Those were coffeeberry bush. I don't know what the Latin name for that is, but this is a tree. This was a tree that I cut off, flush to the ground, and it's about 4 inches in diameter. Yeah, and it was a 12-foot tall tree, so I'm actually just destroying the stump and getting it out of the ground. Whoa, it's slicing it like cheese. Yeah, and these root balls are just 4 inches in diameter right at the surface where I cut them off, but they get wider when you go down into the earth. See, this is a trick that I found out with the Matic. When you have a large root ball, like a tree that you're taking out that's say 4 to 6 inches in diameter, getting the whole thing down underneath with a Matic, you can do it, but it's hard work. And I found a trick that works a little bit faster, is just bust up the stump, start splitting it, split right down the middle of it and the sides, just start quartering it and just chopping it like that and ripping out chunks. And by the time you thrash it and shred the stump, and this thing's working really good because it's so sharp, I'm able to penetrate the stump and just slice it like hard cheese. You can just quarter it up and keep quartering it up, and you can destroy it. You're stump grinding. But one of the prerequisites is you have to have the stump cut as low as possible. Otherwise, you're going to be trying to remove way too much material. I'm going to put my helmet on so I can GoPro. But this round handle's working okay. Okay, let's stop talking and get this thing out of here. Look at that. I'm basically shredding the stump. There's some remains in here, but this thing's not coming back. I got the Cortex. Let's see what this is. This is a wild olive.
This would be really hard to get out. This thing has a root ball, kind of like a well-established.
This thing was actually really big. It was a wild olive tree, and it was about 10 inches in diameter right there, where I'm holding my hands. It was almost a foot in diameter on the long side. I'm just going to start stump grinding this thing. Look at that. Beautiful wood. Kind of an ivory color. A creamy ivory. This wood feels almost like stone. It's hard. This thing was like 10 inches in diameter, and I'm just destroying it with the top dog. Just destroying it. Should have brought my safety glasses. Wasn't even thinking of that. Thought I was just gonna do a little bit of brush cleaning. This is like breaking up a rock. Kind of like the stubby little ads, the way they make it kind of stubby, because by making it kind of short and stubby like that, you know you're not going to over torque it and break the handle unless you're really strong, you know, and you're really obviously over torquing it. Yeah, and what I meant by that was in reference to a Matic, because a Matic has a really long adze that sticks out far. Yeah, I did it. I destroyed it. I went off on a tangent. I was actually talking about the top dog. And this thing got a 10-inch in diameter root ball of a live, wild olive tree. It busted it up right out of the ground while I was sitting there talking the whole time. No, this thing I can tell this thing is going to be a good tool, man. Top Dog by Rouge Hoe.